Okay, so microphone's working, video's working, everything's good, everything's fine, everything's really good. I'm going to recording, this isn't going to be embarrassing, this is just going to be an expression of opinion, and I'm going to post it on YouTube because I have an opinion about these things, basically. Okay, cool, sounds good. I can do that, no problem. So, Iron Man 3, third in the franchise, first one done by Shane Black. Jon Favreau is not doing this one. Am I scared? Yes, but I'm optimistic. Hell yes, I'm optimistic! Woo! Iron Man 3, the third part in this awesome franchise, which apparently now has come to an end. I've been really looking forward to this movie, and the fact that Shane Black is directing it, I'm a little bit scared, but ultimately I'm really excited because the previews look insane. I released 3 previews in totals and a couple of teasers. All of these previews look absolutely phenomenal. You've got Iron Man, you've got multiple Iron Men on the screen, you've got people flying around, you've got Pepper Potts, she's in trouble as well. You've got the typical Robert Downey Jr. banter, which is really awesome. And now they're going to come up the stairs. Hi. Hi. How are you? Good. Don't judge me, just leave me alone.
Hello.
Hugs. Hello. Welcome back. And the other thing I was really looking forward to is the fact that the Mandarin is such a menacing villain and such an amazing, looked like such an amazing character on the preview. I've been really looking forward to whether this villain fleshes out or not, you know. Now that I've seen it, they take an interesting turn with it. Of course, it's been talked about a lot on a whole bunch of different reviews around the globe. The way the direction in which they took the villain of the Mandarin, and the way they incorporated Guy Pearce's character into, you know, the whole enemy story. But ultimately, I'm not really a huge comic book fan, so it doesn't affect me whether or not they stay true to the lore or not, but either way, I had a fantastic time. It was really good. So to begin with, we've got Tony Stark. He is, as usual, a complete badass. He's got a lot of toys and he's playing around. The only issue is he's damaged. He's mentally damaged. He's got what looks like post-traumatic stress disorder. I'm not entirely sure if that's exactly what they're trying to describe, but it certainly looks that way because ever since the Avengers movie, and he's come through that wormhole, as he says, he just can't sleep. He's working all the time. He's finding it really difficult. So essentially he's a damaged character, okay? In the first Iron Man, he wasn't really damaged, he was just a billionaire playboy. In the second Iron Man, he gets a little bit damaged, but not too much, you know, he's still fine, nothing's really threatened for him. But in this third movie, everything is threatened. His entire compound is threatened, his girlfriend is threatened, Pepper Potts. He says he can't live without her, and now she's, you know, been kidnapped. So a lot's being threatened, and this is definitely one of the darker films of the three. Shane Black has really brought this down into a bit more into a dark reality. Before there was a lot of you know, like very fancy gadgets, and he was pretty much invulnerable, so you did care about him because he was cool, but you didn't care about him if, you know, as much as if you were actually worried about him, because now he's in this third movie, he's in a dark place and you're actually really worried about him. You're like, is he going to be able to get out of this nightmare which he's been put into? I don't know why Jarvis decided to take him to Tennessee while he was unconscious. I don't really know why he did that. Like, yes, he set a flight plan, but that was for, you know, when Tony Stark wanted to go there. He took him there anyway. Anyway, that's a different story. But yeah, it goes in a really dark tone, but he rides through with his sarcasm, with his normal quips, and this, of course, is a self-defense mechanism for the fact that he's a bit of a narcissist. He does actually genuinely feel vulnerable, and that's why he has to come out with all these quips all the time, you know, because he just wants to get back to what he wants. He wants Pepper Potts and he wants his life back, basically. But as we find throughout the movie, he changes, and the things that he actually wants, they change a little bit. You know, in the start he wants Pepper Potts and he wants to try and, you know, fix what's wrong with him by inventing. But what he finds out is that all he really needed was to have Pepper Potts and to live a good life. He doesn't need his suits. He doesn't need his special abilities. All he needs is his brain, and he needs his woman and his friends as well. So I think that's a really awesome message to give in the third movie, and a fantastic way to close off the franchise as well. I think they did a fantastic job. Special effects are insane, but that's not much to say these days. These days, special effects is as easy as paying 500 CGI artists to just draw awesome stuff, approve it, and say thanks very much and see you later kind of thing. thing. That never really impresses me, even though visually, of course, it looks, you know, spectacular and helps with the movie. What impresses me is the acting and the story. And in this, the acting and the story is fairly awesome. Guy Pearce, I've been a fan of for ages, ever since Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. He is so funny in real life as well as in the movies, and I just think he did a fantastic job as the villain. Unfortunately, they put him in an awkward position, particularly for the comic fanboys out there, because, you know, I can't talk about it now, but yeah, some weird stuff goes down with the Mandarin. But other than that, he is amazing. Of course, Gwyneth Paltrow is an excellent actor. I've been a fan of her too since Sliding Doors, and she does a great job. Robert Downey Jr., as I said, does a great job. Even Jon Favreau gets to have a cameo in the movie as well. He gets to come in the beginning of the film and actually give Tony Stark a reason to be angry, to be upset at the Mandarin, and to really go after him as well and investigate this whole issue. And the thing is that we care about that relationship because Jon Favreau has been there all 3 films. He's been his supporter, but he's also a very vulnerable character who is obviously a little bit weak and we sympathise with as well. He's not just, you know, a hero, he's just an ordinary guy, and that makes him really relatable. So that relationship is a great setup, and I like how Jon Favreau was able to then take the rest of the movie out to help Shane Black. Shane Black mentioned in the London press conference that Jon Favreau has been an absolute prince, that he's really helped him get through these movies, which is fantastic, and you really need that. And I can tell Jon Favreau seems like a really awesome guy, so that's part of the thing behind great movies, is you've got to have great people behind it, and not just great people who are talented, but great people who have awesome personalities, who are funny, likeable, but also able to get the business done and not take too many hits on the way and get all dark. Just people who are able to stay positive, optimistic, and just make it all lighthearted, and you can really see that in this movie. In the whole franchise, really is fantastic. As a carry-on from the Avengers film, a lot of people are saying that this is more a carry-on from the Avengers film than it is from the Iron Man 2 movie. I tend to agree with that because they didn't really deal with any issues or anything related to Iron Man 2 or 1 other than show the previous suits getting blown up over a few seconds. But they did make a few verbal references in the script to the Avengers movie. It still didn't really make it realistic for me. You know, the fact that they just mentioned them offhand, you know, talking about the guy with the hammer and aliens coming down. You would think that if that happened in real life, the whole world would change and people would look at things with a different perspective, and, you know, things would really, you know, change. The research of direction, technology, all this kind of stuff would kind of change, but they didn't really show that in the movie. So for me, it didn't really feel like a carry-on from the Avengers. For me, this felt like an Iron Man movie that was on a completely new plot and just had to refer to the Avengers occasionally, otherwise everyone would get really annoyed at Shane Black for not mentioning anything about the Avengers, because everybody loves the Avengers. It's so amazing. Oh my god, it's so awesome. In the end, this movie, you know, if you watch it like 4 or 5 times, you'll start to see a whole bunch of little holes in the plot, like, well, excuse me, how is that possible, or how is this possible, or wait, that couldn't have happened because of this, or why would he do that? Wouldn't it be better to do this? You know, one of the most obvious things is when he does get into trouble, he's got a whole arsenal of suits to call upon at any time. Why doesn't he do that to help him? Why does he suddenly feel like he's stuck and he has to make things out of, you know, build things out of stuff he finds in a supermarket? Why can't he just call on those people? I mean, there might be legitimate reasons out for that, but they're never explained. So there's all these tiny little plot holes, but a lot of movies, especially that are very long and heavy and have a lot to explain, will have those issues. But that, you know, that's okay. To be honest, the movie was so awesome, it didn't really, those things didn't really detract from it at all, other than the twist and turn in terms of the main villain. I think that's going to, of course, polarize everybody. It doesn't matter if you're a fanboy of the comics or if you're a non-fanboy, but you still appreciate the Iron Man franchise and you know about the Iron Man lore. You're still going to be a bit sort of, you know, polarized. You're going to be totally on board with it and be like, yeah, okay, that's no problem at all. Or you're going to be like, no, peace out, that sucks. I'm going to go tell everybody that sucks. Despite those tiny flaws, I love this movie, and I'm going to give it a 4.5 out of 5. It was awesome.